Part 29. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Chi Wen. Chapter 285. After realizing that he had been fooled, the Demon Wolf King quickly condensed a layer of ice all over his body. The swamp under his feet was quickly frozen. The green vines under the mountain were also frozen. Then, he shook his whole body, and the vines became ice chips and scattered all over the ground. But the bronze spear had already shot, and he had no time to dodge, so he could only take the blow. The first spear was directly swept away. The second spear hit the ice armor and was broken. But it also left a small hole the size of a thumb on the ice armor. Then, more spears pierced his body. Finally, his whole body defense was shattered, and the spears behind pierced into his body. Ah, woo! Woo! He wailed in pain on the ice, his voice was shrill, and the ice and fire on his body kept flashing, as if he was repairing his damaged body. Wang Shuo and others saw this opportunity and did not hesitate at all. If not now, when would they go? Wang Shuo used his legs to leap up, and in mid-air, he used his strongest attack. At the same time, Good and Ayub also used their strongest skills. The Demon Wolf King turned his head and saw 3 attacks falling on him one after another. His terrible wounds quickly worsened, and his health dropped to less than 2,000. However, this was not the end. In the distance, a huge stone man crashed into him. Mount Tai pressed down on the top. The Demon Wolf King was immediately stunned. At the same time, the ice layer on the ground was cracked, and the Demon Wolf King slowly sank half of his body into the swamp while dizzy. It was not silt below, but hard frozen soil. But none of this mattered, and this gave several people another chance to attack. Although everyone's ultimate move was gone, there were other high damage skills. Wang Shuo also fought hard. If this attack could not kill him, it would most likely let the Demon Wolf King escape. In the future, I am afraid there will be no chance to kill him again. Wang Shuo directly took out 20 thunder bombs and threw them into the pit. Bang! After a loud bang, the soil was blown up. However, the sound that Wang Shuo wanted to hear did not sound. Wang Shuo and Ayub stood 20 meters away, looking at each other. Is he dead? Wang Shuo had no idea. In theory, 20 thunderbolts can cause 20,000 damage, which is enough. Although the defense of the Demon Wolf King is 1,200, he is now seriously injured and his defense has been greatly reduced. Wang Shuo approached cautiously. At the edge of the deep pit that was blown up, Wang Shuo saw the situation in the pit. The limbs of the Demon Wolf King were blown away, and half of his head was blown off. However, in the other half of the head, there was still death energy condensed into a ball, which was constantly absorbing the death energy around and repairing the damaged body. Wang Shuo breathed a sigh of relief, and at the same time he had to praise. Awesome! He was not dead, so Wang Shuo was not polite. He waited for a while, and when the big move CD was ready, he directly gave him a fatal blow. You killed the Demon Wolf King. Wang Shuo finally felt relieved after hearing the system prompt. The Demon Wolf King's fall was extremely frustrating. He didn't have time to release many skills before he was killed by Wang Shuo. It can only be said that fighting cannot rely on force alone, but also requires a little strategy. The Demon Wolf King dropped many items, including a lot of soul crystals and energy crystals. One of the job transfer certificates made Wang Shuo very excited. High-level military officer job transfer certificate. Wang Shuo immediately used this job transfer certificate. Just now, he killed the Demon Wolf King, and his level has risen to level 38. The high-level military officer's momentum burst out, and Wang Shuo felt stronger than ever before. Ah! I want to beat -10 of them. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Chi Wen. Chapter 286. Wang Shuo howled, but couldn't find anyone to vent his anger on. Just when the demon Wolf King was hit by countless spears, Taker wisely stopped. When the demon Wolf King was blown up, he wisely fled, and took the remaining skeleton soldiers with him. Wang Shuo could only yell helplessly. There was another altar in front, and Wang Shuo immediately led his men to destroy it. After these two battles, Wang Shuo's Red Flame army can be said to have been tested in actual combat, and the average level has increased by about 3 levels. The experience of large-scale group battles has continued to increase, and the command values of officers at all levels under his command have also increased to varying degrees, and the comprehensive combat power has once again reached a new level. After returning to Wana Town, Wang Shuo held a military meeting. The two battles were summarized. Faced with a large number of requests for help, Wang Shuo could not ignore them. There are so many people asking for help at present, and Wang Shuo is also planning to destroy a few more altars, and saving people should be a matter of course. Wang Shuo briefly introduced the basic situation. All the soldiers offered suggestions, and finally, they decided to destroy the altar of the dead near Nanshanji first, so as to make Wana Town safer. Wang Shuo told all the members of Nanshan Club that Nanshanji had been temporarily freed from danger, and if they could not resist, they could go there for refuge. The leader is mighty, and he has wiped out the dead so quickly. Master, there are a large number of people in my territory who have been infected with the dead air. May I ask if there are any dead spirit beads? Hey! I really sympathize with you. Before the resurrection of the dead, I bought a large number of dead spirit beads and bronze bricks. Now there is no way to deal with the army of dead outside the city. It is right to follow the leader. Master, can you come to save me? I feel that I am not the material to be a lord. Please pity the more than 5,000 people in my territory. The lord of Jiaotang village spoke sincerely, and Wang Shuo also had the same intention. So he gathered his troops and began to sweep the surrounding burning legion. During the clearing process, many rescued people expressed their willingness to join Wana Town. In just 2 days, the number of people in Wana Town exceeded 50,000. The population conditions for upgrading to a second-level town have been met, and the public sentiment is still slightly low, but it is only a matter of time to recover. Now there is only one silver energy converter left, and there is no clue. The clearing work was carried out in an orderly manner. When dealing with some lower-level skeleton soldiers, Wang Shuo always sent the city defense army to improve their actual combat capabilities. On this day, Wang Shuo led the Hell Knights to destroy the altar near Mulberry Village. Mulberry Village had been breached by the Burning Legion. The entire village was already a rubble, and no one inside escaped. After the battle, Wang Shuo took the Hell Knights to rest on the spot, and let the Hellhounds enter the breeding space by the way, so that they could quickly recover their physical strength. Suddenly, a team of fast horses approached from afar and approached rapidly. Wang Shuo told his men to prepare for battle. After a while, he saw the person coming. It was Ye Tianba. He was in a very bad state at this time, his armor was tattered, and there were only 3 people left under his command, which was very miserable. Brother Tianba. Seeing Wang Shuo, Ye Tianba's hope of life ignited in his heart, but it was extinguished in an instant. Go. There are undead knights behind. After Tianba town was breached, he could only flee with his men. But he was chased by the undead knights. In order not to give up any of his men, they fought and retreated, but their numbers continued to decrease. Someone proposed to cover the rear, but he rejected it. At this time, he regretted it. If he hadn't insisted on his own way, at least many brothers could have escaped. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Chi Wen. Chapter 287. At this time, he no longer had the high spirits he had in Changping County. He was a man who valued friendship and loyalty. After this disaster, he was filled with grief and indignation. He wanted to kill the army of undead and avenge his dead brothers. Yet Tianba stopped when he saw Wang Shuo did not leave with him. "Mayor Wang, hurry up. A single undead knight is already very powerful, and there are more than 100 of them," Ye Tianba said hurriedly with an anxious look in his eyes. Wang Shuo was relieved when he heard this and immediately ordered, "Prepare for battle." Thousands of hell three-headed dogs appeared out of thin air, which was spectacular. Ye Tianba was stunned when he saw the soldier just now, quickly turned over and climbed onto the back of the three-headed dog. His mind was buzzing. Wang Shuo ignored him because the undead knights of the Burning Legion had already appeared in his sight. Wang Shuo took out the bloodthirsty spear, pointed the spear, and the knights of hell rushed towards the undead knights. Although the level of the undead knight is very high, the lowest level is 50, but the individual strength is not much stronger than the hell three-headed dog knight. Wang Shuo's soldiers are generally of A-level qualifications, and the territory also has an additional attack qualification, so the ace troops can be said to be S-level. Each level provides 6 attribute points, which is more than the attribute points Wang Shuo gets after upgrading. The combat power is naturally very strong. When the two sides fought, the number of undead knights was crushed, and they were naturally beaten without any ability to fight back. It can almost reach 10 to 1. 10 people attack in one round, killing an undead knight is more than enough. After all, the attack of the three-headed dog is not covered. One round of charge, ending the battle, clean and neat. For such battles, I don't know how many times they have been staged in the past 2 days, and Wang Shuo didn't take it to heart at all. But Ye Tianba and his only 3 remaining brothers couldn't believe the facts in front of them. They rubbed their eyes and felt that they must have fallen into an illusion. Fantasy before death? Wang Shuo returned and jumped off De Wang's back. "Brother Tianba, are you okay?" Ye Tianba came back to his senses. "Wang, Mayor Wang, what kind of troops are these?" Ye Tianba was a little slurred. Wang Shuo patted De Wang's head and said with a smile, "This is my mount, the three-headed hellhound. How about it, mighty and domineering, ah, ha ha." Ye Tianba drooled. De Wang and the three-headed hellhounds, who had inherited the position of the leader of the three-headed hellhounds, were naturally very strong. Of course, the other adult three-headed hellhounds were only a little smaller than their king in terms of size. But there was still a big gap in attributes, endurance, attack power, etc. Ye Tianba saw Wang Shuo's three-headed hellhound knight troops and couldn't take his eyes off them. He imagined that if he could command such a unit, he would be invincible on the battlefield and kill all enemies. He thought about it and decided that since he didn't plan to be a lord anymore, it would be a good choice to join Wang Shuo. So, he knelt on one knee and said to Wang Shuo, "Mayor Wang, my Tianba town no longer exists, and I have nowhere to go now. Please take me in." At this time, the 3 people behind him also knelt down. Wang Shuo was delighted and readily agreed to help him up. At the same time, he checked Ye Tianba's information. ID, SAC 567839227 Ye Tianba. Level 35. Affiliation, Wana Town. Loyalty, 92/100. Combat occupation, Cavalry. Strength, 200. Constitution, 180. Agility, 66. Energy, 57. Qualification, B level, 4. Free attribute points are provided for each level up. Combat attribute panel. Attack power, 400. Defense power, 170. Reputation, 1200. Command value, 44. Health value, 4700. Skills, 1 intimidation, 2 charged attack 3 hit combo. Equipment, 1 excellent armor, Damaged, 2. Excellent spear. Overall, it's good, but the armor is a bit shabby. Lord Survival, my shelter in Crocodile territory. Author, Chi Wen. Chapter 288. Okay, from now on we are a family. Wang Shuo patted Yetianba on the shoulder with a smile on his face. Thank you, boss, Yetianba stood up and said solemnly. After a while, Yetianba looked at Wang Shuo, scratched his head, and said a little embarrassedly, Boss, can I have one of these three-headed dogs? Wang Shuo put away his smile, stared at Yetianba, and pondered, Tianba, how about letting you join the Hell Knights? Is it okay? Yetianba's eyes lit up and he was very excited. My Hell Knights are still short of a deputy commander, but I have a request, which is to sign a Thought Steel stamp scroll. Wang Shuo told him the Thought Steel stamp scroll. Yetianba only thought about it for a few seconds and agreed without hesitation. He had just experienced a failure, and now he just wanted to enjoy the battlefield, and he didn't think of betraying Wang Shuo at all. So this Thought Steel stamp scroll has no binding force on him. Just like in the eyes of a top student, completing homework is not a task at all, it is just his duty. Wang Shuo naturally accepted this general with joy. He immediately decided to let De Huang select a strong three-headed dog to be Yetianba's mount. After Yetianba rode on it, he immediately ran wildly. Just like the first battery car he bought that year, he shuttled through the streets and alleys until he ran out of power and then went back unwillingly. The endurance of the three-headed dog of hell, that is, it can run for a day and a night, and it will not run out of power. After running for an incense stick of time, Wang Shuo's subordinates were almost rested. It's time to set off for the next place. Tianba, we should set off. Okay, boss, Yetianba ran back happily. The reason why Wang Shuo chose him as the deputy commander of his personal guards was that he had good combat power and could take on this task, and secondly, Yetianba was relatively simple, and he valued friendship and responsibility, and should be reliable at critical times. Seeing his tattered armor, it must have been damaged in the battle. Wang Shuo immediately gave him a set of gold. At the same time, he gave him the flame gun that he had replaced. His strength finally recovered to its peak. In the past 2 days, Wang Shuo and Ayub and others were separated by several miles and acted separately. If they encountered a large-scale undead army, they would send a signal, meet together, and act together. If it was just a small-scale undead army, they would handle it themselves. This kind of dragnet-style clearing greatly improved efficiency. They searched and rescued many people who fled like Yetianba. For these people who could go to Wana Town or Nanshan Market by themselves, Wang Shuo let them go by themselves. If they were the elderly, weak, women, and children who could not find their place by themselves, Wang Shuo could only let them follow the large army. You know, although these people have no combat power, their living and professional abilities are also very important to Wang Shuo. On the way back, Wang Shuo received a message from Bailey Liang. Lord, we were attacked by surprise. We raised our eyebrows. There are undead wandering everywhere now. They won't attack by surprise. It seems that this matter is not simple. Sure enough, Bailey Liang continued, the other party is from Tianquan. The village chief is Yoshida Mondo. They attacked one of our columns by surprise. All 100 city defense troops were killed. Wang Shuo was furious when he heard the news. Lord Survival, my shelter in Crocodile territory. Author, Chi Wen. Chapter 289. In the face of a powerful enemy, they are still killing each other. This is simply the scum of humanity. People who live too comfortably have always liked to do such things to kill everyone. Don't act rashly, all of you retreat to the territory and wait for us to come back. Wang Shuo's 3 cavalry units are all active within the 50-kilometer range of the territory, while the city defense army is only within the 15-kilometer range of the territory. It seems that the enemy has already found a place not far from Wanatown. Wang Shuo has already identified this group of people as enemies. Abu, good, return to the territory as soon as possible. Wang Shuo conveyed the order to the two through the friend channel. Half a day later, everyone returned to Wanatown. In the meeting hall, Bailey Liang, tell me about the situation. Wang Shuo said in a serious voice. Others were confused and waited quietly for Bailey Liang to speak. My lord, 4 hours ago, when we were dispersing in columns to clean up small groups of undead skeletons, 3 teams of centurions suddenly reported to me that they were attacked by a team of warriors in tight uniforms. When we rushed over to support them, there were only corpses on the ground. According to the wounds, it should be caused by samurai swords, and only Tiankin near us has special soldiers such as samurai. My lord, please avenge our dead brothers. This revenge must be avenged. Good, you lead the archers now and find out where they are now. How many people are there? Yes. In addition, Abu, you collect all the dead spirit beads that are full of death energy, and I will purify the death energy inside. Yes. Purifying the death energy is also very simple, just use a drop of water of life to soak it. Wang Shuo has experimented before that after diluting a drop of water of life, tens of thousands of dead spirit beads can be purified at a time. The effect of water of life is really outrageous. While waiting for the news, Wang Shuo inspected his territory. The newly joined people were quickly integrated into the big family under a series of process arrangements. Stable social relations are the most effective means to alleviate confusion and anxiety. Just at this time, in a remote corner, Wang Shuo actually found a beggar. Wang Shuo showed a look of surprise. Wengzi, what's going on? Boss, don't you recognize him? This is Mao Qiang. Wang Shuo tried to recall and remembered this person. This is the person who instigated everyone to replace him when the territory was first built. He can only say that he has brought this upon himself. Boss, you don't know that he is very famous in the hearts of the people, even more famous than me. He is now the most typical person who is despised in our town. Wang Shuo thought clearly about the whole story and no longer cared about it. With such a negative example here, he can always remind those who have ulterior motives. After walking for a while, Wang Shuo came to the blacksmith shop. Lord, why are you here? Wu Dong walked over quickly and saluted Wang Shuo. Brother Duan, he greeted Duan Wengzi again. Wu Dong was no longer the little apprentice he used to be. He was a manager who managed hundreds of blacksmiths, and his own blacksmith level had reached a high level. Have you encountered any difficulties in your work recently? My lord, our blacksmith shop is now developing well. We can produce thousands of weapons and armors every day, and tens of thousands of ammunition and arrows. If there is any difficulty, it is that the consumption of ore cannot keep up with our productivity. At the same time, the scale of the blacksmith shop is a bit small, and there is no land for us to expand in this place, so I want to move the blacksmith shop to the second ring. Now everyone has called the inner city wall the first ring and the outer city wall the second ring. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 290. Wengzi, do you think this is feasible? Boss, this matter is of great importance. I wanted to report it to you when you were free, but things have been uneasy recently, so I haven't had time to tell you. Wengzi, you can handle this matter. In the territory, those who need to move should move, and those who need to be demolished should be demolished. Okay, boss. Afterwards, Wang Shuo went to the grocery store, the clinic, and other places to inspect. In the evening, Good returned to the camp. Lord, I have found out that there are about 800 of them in a valley 30 miles to the west. Okay, then we will set off immediately and try to come back early for a midnight snack. For the flaming horse and the three-headed dog, the distance of 30 miles is only more than 10 minutes at full speed. With Wang Shuo's investment regardless of cost, the number of flaming horses in the territory has been considerable. This kind of expansion is geometrically increasing. It is the slowest at the beginning. When the scale is reached, the speed will take off. During this period, foreign merchants have been coming to trade. One of the birth-inducing pills can accelerate the birth of animals very quickly. The side effect is that the consumption of energy crystals is very huge. The speed of the flaming warhorse is more than twice that of ordinary warhorses. No matter how much the cost is, it is worth it. Therefore, there are more than 1,500 flaming warhorses at present. All the Golden Fire cavalrymen rode on flaming horses, and half of the archers were equipped with this good horse. Let's go. Wang Shuo gave an order and galloped out of the city with the main combat force of the territory and 2,500 red flame soldiers. The afterglow of the setting sun fell. Through the faint death aura that loomed, a dreamy scene was created in the valley. Yoshida Mondo was very uncomfortable at this time. On this trip, they originally wanted to come to Wana town to buy dead spirit beads. The dead spirit beads they bought from other middlemen were already full of dead energy. Several of his men had been infected with dead energy and turned into undead. Of course, these people were killed immediately. At this time, they noticed a team of 100 people without any dead energy. So they wanted to rob other people's dead spirit beads. Their usual style is that what's mine is mine, and what's others can also be mine. So they ruthlessly attacked the team of 100 people. At this time, one of his confidants, Yinghua Guzi, was an assassin who had met Wang Shuo once in the Dragon King's underground palace. Although she had long seen that this was the army of Wana town, she did not say anything to stop it. She wanted to kill Wang Shuo to avenge the day. Although she got 100 dead spirit beads, it was not enough. Yoshida Mondo made up his mind. Since he had killed 100 people in Wana town, going to Wana town to buy the dead spirit beads would be like walking into a trap. It would be better to go all out and destroy Wana town directly. He was very confident in his ninja troops. After all, he wiped out the undead army that besieged him at a very small cost, including a silver boss with a level of 40. In his eyes, Wana town was just like that, nothing great. This sneak attack on their 100-man team will definitely cause Wana town to suffer a great loss of vitality. At this time, they must have become frightened birds and dare not come out. No, if they don't come out, they will have to attack the village and town by force, and the casualties will definitely increase. It seems that we still have to think of a way to lure the snake out of the hole. Just when Yoshida Mondo was thinking about it, a sound of footsteps interrupted his thinking. Lord Yoshida, there seems to be a team of cavalry outside the valley. Lord Survival, my shelter in Crocodile territory. Author, Chi Wen. Chapter 291. Yoshida Mondo's right eye twitched, and he felt confused, and he was about to say something. A mighty three-headed hell dog suddenly appeared in front of him. On the back of the three-headed dog, a god of war wearing a fiery red armor, a golden helmet, and holding a blood-red spear shocked him. The opponent was condescending and pointed his spear at him. Yoshida Mondo almost peed in fear. The main thing is the opponent's mount, which is 2 meters high, has 3 dog heads, and reveals sharp fangs, which is terrifying. Who are you? The person who killed you. Mondo Yoshida suddenly felt that his body could not move, and he was tightly bound by 4 dark chains. Wang Shuo used a basic attack and a big move to knock out Mondo Yoshida in seconds. Sakura Tanako saw the human head rolling down at her feet, and it was like waking up from a dream. Taking a closer look at the face of the man on the three-headed dog, he couldn't help but feel like he was dead. She immediately wanted to become invisible and run away. Wang Shuo also noticed Sakura Gozi at this time and immediately used Abyss Swamp. After becoming invisible, you can only move your body slowly, but if you are in a swamp, you will fall down after moving. Sakura Tanako's invisibility skill was broken instantly. Because somewhere in the swamp, bubbles are constantly bubbling. Good. Wang Shuo shouted, and Good immediately understood and shot a 3-star cascade at Sakura Millet. He was shot to death on the spot. There is no suspense in the next battle. Wang Shuo sent people to block the exit and kept firing arrows. Even if he was invisible, his position would still be exposed if he was shot. Invisibility does not provide immunity to physical attacks. The Golden Fire Cavalry and the Hell Knights continued to charge and kill. These ninja troops only have higher agility and faster movement and attack speeds, but no matter how fast they are, can they be faster than war horses? In the time of a stick of incense, the battle is over. A group of local chickens and war dogs dared to sneak attack on Wana town. They simply did not know whether to live or die. After cleaning the battlefield, Wang Shuo led his troops back to Wana town. In the evening, Wang Shuo held a grand dinner. It's been a long time since I celebrated with my fellow citizens. It is still very necessary to have this kind of banquet occasionally, so that the citizens can feel a sense of peace of mind in this dangerous world. Experience the joy of living. The next day, Wang Shuo stood by the window, lost in thought. Just now, he received a message from Changping County Magistrate Lin Xiaodong. Congratulations to Mayor Wang, for relieving the crisis of the undead. Changping County is now in danger, and we hope to lend a helping hand to come to the rescue. Wang Shuo had no ill feelings towards Lin Xiaodong. He felt that this person was gentle and elegant, much better than Lin Guanru. Moreover, he also gave him 5 town hearts for free, which was considered a favor to him. After checking the map, I discovered that Tamura was on his way to Changping County. This time, Wang Shuo did not plan to go from the teleportation array to Changping County. When you enter the county seat, you will definitely be controlled by Lin Xiaodong. Will you listen to his unified instructions at that time, or will you not? Moreover, his main force is the cavalry force, and city defense warfare is not suitable for him. Wang Shuo divided Li Jiangguo's ballista battalion into 2, leaving half to Bailey Liang to defend Wana town. The remaining half followed him, and each of them was equipped with an ordinary war horse. Then the Black Mountain Bandits and the Lancer Battalion were stationed in Nanshanji, with Gongping in charge. Li Weiguo was also appointed as the deputy commander of the Shield Battalion to coordinate with Bailey Liang to defend Wana town. After the arrangements were made, Wang Shuo led the 3 ace troops towards Tamura. On the road, Wang Shuo looked at Good's horse archers. The name Archer is really not worthy of being ranked alongside the other 2 ace troops. So he asked, Good, what name do you want to give this army? Good thought for a while and then said slowly, it's all up to the Lord to decide. Wang Shuo nodded helplessly. Why don't we just call them the Knights of the Storm Chasers? Thank you, Lord, for the name. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 292. During this trip, Wang Shuo also brought Zhou Yuanjia and Gong Zheng with him. Now, Wang Shuo has more and more powerful generals, but Gong Zheng is always the one who makes him feel most secure. After destroying small groups of undead along the way, it took another 2 hours, and Tianquan was in sight. Tianquan is not within the radiation range of Nanshanji, but in the nearby Zhiokai town. It is only more than 80 kilometers away from Wana town. Wang Shuo slowly approached, and when he could see the figures in the village with his naked eyes, Wang Shuo took out the 1,000-mile tube. After a careful observation, he handed the 1,000-mile tube to several commanders who were accompanying him. The wall of Tianquan is not made of bronze bricks, but it is also strong and about 10 meters high. The boss attacking Tianquan is only silver, and the attacking undead skeletons are not the main force. So Tianquan can be defended. After reading it, Li Jiangguo immediately said, Lord, I only need one round of attack, I am confident that I can destroy the city wall. Wang Shuo also wanted to experience what it felt like to crush withering and rotten. Last time when Nanshanji was captured, there were too many bribed insiders, and the tenacity of the defending army was not reflected at all. Okay, let me see how strong the strongest firepower of our Wana town is. This time, Li Jiangguo brought 30 catapults. The productivity of the woodworking workshop can fully meet the consumption of the army in Wana town. At this time, the crossbow battalion can be said to have sufficient ammunition. With 30 shells falling on the city wall collapsed. Wang Shuo showed approval on his face. Afterwards, he took the lead and charged into the village. Baga, the enemy is attacking, quickly defend the city wall. Wang Shuo's mood became very happy when he heard the pure Baga, and the weeping blood gun in his hand seemed to be unable to hold back. Half an hour later, Wang Shuo rescued more than 100 people who were still alive and didn't say Baga. Originally, there were still hundreds of them. Men were forced to work, and many women couldn't bear the humiliation and committed suicide. These damned people, seeing these compatriots who were tortured to the point of not looking like humans, really wanted to smash all the egg yolks in Tianquan. When leaving, Wang Shuo set fire to the entire Tianquan. Mainly because he didn't want these corpses to be transformed into skeleton soldiers by the undead. Wang Shuo didn't have time to escort these old, weak, sick, and disabled people. After giving them some supplies, he let them go to Nanshanji on their own. He had cleared all the undead along the way. As long as the luck is not too bad, they should be able to arrive alive. Continue on the road. Changping County is in the east of Nanshanji, and it is exactly in a straight line with Wana town, 200 kilometers away. Wang Shuo killed the undead along the way. As long as he didn't encounter the undead army besieging the town, he basically swept all the way. During this period, Wang Shuo destroyed a total of 15 altars of the dead. He temporarily ranked second. The first place is still the mysterious Dongxi town. The third place is Sushiu. Wang Shuo's undercover Wang Bao finally successfully joined Sushiu's Juyuan town. As for the first place Dongxi town, Wang Shuo sent Si Xinyi, who was living outside, to inquire about the news. When Si Xinyi received the news from Wang Shuo, she was working as a courtesan in Yushinyuan, Luhe County. Relying on her beauty, she collected a lot of useful information. As night fell, Wang Shuo collected all the dead spirit beads of the Xian army again and purified them uniformly. Lord, there are another 50 miles ahead to Changping County. Are we going to rush over like this? Yung, what do you suggest? Lord, I think we should first find out how strong the nearby undead are. If we attack rashly, we may be at a disadvantage. Wang Shuo nodded secretly. It is indeed necessary to investigate it carefully. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 293. After setting up camp, Wang Shuo immediately contacted Lin Xiaodong. Lin County Magistrate, I wonder what the situation is with the undead besieging Changping County. After a while, Lin Xiaodong replied to Wang Shuo. There is a junior general, 4 top generals, and dozens of senior generals besieging Changping County. As for the skeleton soldiers, the number should be more than 100,000. Wang Shuo was speechless for a long time after seeing this news. There are only 2 senior generals in Wana town. And the last time he killed a junior general, he was completely unexpected, so he killed the opponent. This time, the enemy lineup he faced was so strong that Wang Shuo was a little suffocated. How is it? Are you scared? Seeing that Wang Shuo did not reply for a long time, Lin Xiaodong replied again. No, I'm now stationed 30 or 40 miles outside Changping County, trying to see if I can find any opportunities. Don't worry, the undead are accumulating strength, and we will have reinforcements. You just need to wait patiently, and I will notify you to take unified actions when the time comes. Okay. Wang Shuo was also unsure in his heart. After all, there were too many enemies. Let's see the situation first. Divide the wind-chasing knights into 10-man teams and send them out to get information. Wang Shuo opened the chat channel in the tent. There were only 150,000 people left in the chat channel of Hedong County, nearly half of them disappeared. Everyone, this life is unbearable. We have been besieged for 3 days. Is there any great lord who can show mercy and come to rescue us? Upstairs, don't think about it. How many people have the strength now? It's better to rely on yourself than on heaven and earth. Wang Shuo agreed with this sentence very much. If he hadn't actively thought of ways, he would have died in battles again and again. At this moment, Wang Shuo noticed an important piece of information. A player said that Sushiu had led his troops to support Changping County. This gave Wang Shuo a competitive feeling. This Sushiu and himself were always on par. Now that he was here, it seemed that he could meet him this time. After a while, Good walked in. Lord, according to the information just obtained, there are 8 large altars around Changping County, and a large number of undead skeletons are stationed near each altar. At the same time, 4 forces have been found nearby that are like us, wandering on the edge of the skeleton army. Wang Shuo was shocked. It seemed that there were quite a few people who thought the same as him. Can you see their flags clearly? Which forces are they? Reply to Lord, the soldiers don't recognize their flags. It seems that this time, not only do we have to eliminate these skeletons, but we also have to be wary of these allies. Wang Shuo thought about it and decided to see if his Nanshan club had any potential to tap. In the past few days, the altars in the Nanshan Association's territory have basically been wiped out by Wang Shuo. Only a few small groups of undead are left, which are left to other lords, at least to let others have some sense of participation. Brothers, have your territories been stabilized at present? The leader has spoken, the leader has spoken. Now there are only 15 lords left in the Nanshan Association, and 3 of them defended the attack of the Burning Legion with their own strength. The remaining 12, thanks to Wang Shuo's timely rescue, otherwise they might not have survived until now. Therefore, the Nanshan Association's trust in Wang Shuo is already very high. Even the 3 lords with good strength are grateful to Wang Shuo. Mainly because they bought a large number of dead spirit beads before, and also followed Wang Shuo's advice to strengthen the city wall. If they were not able to purchase a large number of resources from Wana Town and enter Wana Town's dungeon for training, they probably wouldn't have achieved the current results. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 294. The surrounding areas of my Jiaotang village have been basically cleared. In Mulberry Village, there are no traces of the undead. Very good, then do you want to come and see what the undead army in Changping County looks like? Warm reminder, the undead army here is estimated to be at least 100,000. Hiss. This. Lord Leader, have you already gone? Well, I am currently outside Changping County, only 20 or 30 miles away from the undead army. Brothers, are you interested in coming with me to kill skeletons? At this time, all the lords were thinking in their minds. The danger was temporarily lifted, and there was nothing to do except resume construction of the territory. They have not forgotten that Wang Shuo said that with the merits of this battle, one can get the heart of the town. But the danger of this trip is still quite high. If you want to follow Wang Shuo, you don't dare to do it if you don't have any strength. Okay, Lord Alliance Leader, wait for me, I will come to participate in this battle. I'm here to join in the fun. Mr. Meng Master, I won't join in the fun. In the previous defensive battle, the territory suffered heavy losses, and now there is no army expedition. Wang Shuo was deeply relieved to see someone responding. As for those who didn't come, he also expressed his understanding. The destruction that the Burning Legion had done to them was really hard on them. Half a day later, 5 lords from the Nanshan Association joined Wang Shuo with their troops. Lin Xian from Luxi village, Lu Haiming from Jiaotang village, Wang Haijing from Mulberry village, Wen Yufan from Milan village, and Su Pinggui from Xingxiang village. Each of these 5 villages brought 500 to 1,000 people. Wang Shuo warmly received several people in the camp. After seeing Wang Shuo's army, several people became more and more in awe of Wang Shuo. Thank you for coming and fighting alongside me. The leader is so polite. We would be very grateful if the leader can take us to play together. After a few polite exchanges, Wang Shuo asked them to camp nearby and wait for unified action. After seeing off a few people, a soldier came in and announced that Sushiu from Juyuan town was here to pay his respects. Wang Shuo was shocked. Wang Shuo also wanted to meet the Sushiu, but he didn't expect that the other party came to visit him first. Quick, please. Soon, a majestic man wearing black gold armor walked into the tent, and Wang Shuo immediately stood up to greet him. Sushiu was not wearing a helmet. His sharp eyes and stern face looked full of majesty. Brother Su, although you and I have never met, we have been close friends for a long time. Wang Shuo walked over quickly. Brother Wang's reputation is like thunder to my ears. I happened to hear my subordinates say that you were also nearby, so I took the liberty to pay a visit. I hope I don't disturb Brother Wang. Behind Sushiu were 2 people with ferocious faces and fierce eyes. They seemed to be able to tear apart tigers and capture leopards. They are really 2 tiger generals. The 2 sat down. Wang Shuo ordered people to serve tea and took a sip. Sushiu said, Brother Wang, I wonder if you have any good ideas for this rescue battle. Wang Shuo shook his head and said with a smile, I have just arrived here. I don't know much about the terrain and the enemy's overall situation, so I don't have any strategies. I have been surveying the surroundings for 2 days. The information I have found so far is that the total number of the undead army besieging Changping County is about 120,000, and the number is expected to increase. The Supreme Commander is a bloodthirsty demon wolf. We are now in the direction of the East City Gate of Changping County, and the one who besieged the East City Gate is the Wagner Division of the Burning Legion. The total number of troops in this department is 40,000, and the Chief General, Wagner, is a top-level 58 general. As for senior generals, there are at least a dozen. High-level generals are equivalent to golden bosses, while top-level generals are equivalent to rare bosses. As for the more advanced ones, whether they are beasts or humans, they all have extremely high IQs and are worthy of being warriors.